What do you do if you have, sure, you can chew gum or brush your teeth, but that only masks the smell. It doesn't treat the cause of the problem. But now a Kiwi professor has come up with a solution, literally. You gargle with it, suck a lozenge, and your breath turns sweet once more. Alistair Wilkinson has the story.
Most of us know what it's like to have a bout of bad breath after a night on the town. But what about if you have chronic halitosis, which can't be erased by brushing your teeth?
It's like fear factor without the cockroaches.
Actor Tom McRae has agreed to help us test how people react to this sensitive personal problem.
Pretty bad.
For 48 hours, Tom's been chewing garlic regularly, and he's been banned from brushing his teeth.
Just gargle it for 20 seconds.
He's also taken a special potion that makes the breath smell worse.
So give me a smell. See, that's bad. Yeah, it's real bad.
We've asked Tom to pose as a journalist, filming a story about this shopping mall. His challenge? To keep young female shoppers talking for as long as he can, so we can see how they react.
Yeah. Like vivid on your face or...
like real bad breath or something.
Yeah.
More of that later. Professor Tagg says that while many people treat bad breath as a bit of a joke, for chronic sufferers, it's anything but.
Oh, it can be quite devastating for some people, and from accounts from overseas, some people have been driven to suicide.
To suicide?
To suicide, because they really believe that it's a condition that they can't deal with. The shame is that it really is treatable, as we have found now.
John spent his entire career studying the bugs that inhabit the mouth.
This one's good, this one's nice, this one smells fine, have a smell. This is Strep salivarius, no problem there.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You could do with that on your tongue, but this guy here, have a smell of that one.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Okay, Alistair, I'll just get you to open your mouth and...
Using a special camera, he showed us where the problem often originates.
The back of the tongue, because that's the...
It's back here, on the rough base of the tongue.
It's a playground for anaerobes, right at the back of your tongue there. We've got two broad classes of bacteria in the mouth. Some of them like to feed on carbohydrate, and others of them like to feed really on protein. Now, if you've got too many of the bacteria that like to feed on protein in your mouth, they break down the protein and turn it into these smelly compounds. So it's really just a matter of balance.
These protein-loving bacteria flourish when there's not enough saliva or enough blood getting to the tissues in the mouth. Smoking, stress, and even pregnancy can all trigger bad breath. You're also likely to be susceptible after taking antibiotics.
When you have a course of antibiotics, that's sort of like an atomic bomb blast as far as your bacteria are concerned. And what you find is that it decimates large tracts of your bacterial populations in your mouth, and then it's pretty much up to chance which ones will repopulate.
Back at the mall, our roving reporters getting a practical lesson in what it's like when bad bugs overrun the mouth.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions about the mall.
Yeah.
How often...
Tom doesn't have any problems getting young women to stop, but watch how their body language shifts after they get a whiff of him.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. What would you like to see changed?
Constance is trying hard to conceal her disgust, but look how she refuses to meet Tom's eye.
Upgraded, like, whoa.
Yeah? Anything else?
Sophie is even less subtle.
You don't like any of the other stores here?
I like Marketale as well. They got, like, cool jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why, are you right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good.
I was just about to look in that Soul place that looks new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vicky manages to hold Tom's gaze, but watch how she edges back.
You into colourful things, eh? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Before you sorry.
Yeah.
My name's Alistair.
Yeah.
I'm actually...
It's only when we reveal the setup that the truth comes out.
We're conducting a little social experiment today.
Okay.
About bad breath.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he had... You noticed? Yeah, right.
Like,
you were like leaning back. You were like seriously leaning back.
Yeah.
What's going through your head as you kind of get the first whiff?
You just clean your teeth. Yeah.
But you didn't say that.
No.
Why?
So you don't know them. Yeah, not your position to say.
Right.
You've known this.
And that's what struck our actor, Tom.
Yes, everyone's so polite. They kind of don't say anything and try not to let it show.
How do you think it would affect your life to have bad breath for real?
I feel so much more distant from people rather than you'd always feel like they're holding something back rather than being totally open with you.
Microbiologist John Tagg learned at an early age what it's like to be shunned because you smell. As a child, he was plagued with streptococcus sore throats. When he was 12, it developed into rheumatic fever, a disease that can ravage the heart. John was lucky. He escaped unscathed, but had to take antibiotics for the next 10 years to prevent a relapse.
All through my teenage years, I was popping penicillin pills daily, smelling like a fungus because I was exuding penicillin. Not a cool thing to happen to a teenager.
John went on to study at Melbourne University and developed a passion for finding an alternative to antibiotics.
I thought there's got to be a better way.
His mentor, Dr. Rose Mushin, was studying the molecules that bacterium produce to ward off competitors. They're called bacteriocin-like inhibitory substances, or BLIS for short. Dr. Mushin was interested in harnessing BLIS to ward off diarrhea. John wondered if the same approach could be used to prevent disease in the mouth and throat.
It was almost like a revelation to me because it just seemed such a great idea to use bacteria to fight off other bacteria. I can remember thinking there, sitting there in the class thinking, I wonder if that would work for strep infections as well.
It was the beginning of a quest to find the BLIS that would prevent sore throats and bad breath.
I guess I was driven for so many years of my life. I just really wanted to make the discovery.
You want to rinse it all around in your mouth.
The breakthrough came during a study of 100 Dunedin school children over 6 years. 10 of the children never got sore throats. Their saliva held the key.
We found that the common factor was that those children who didn't get strep sore throats over that period had strep salivarius on their tongue, producing a particular type of BLIS. And so we thought then, the magic BLIS-producing microbe that we were looking for. It wasn't some eureka moment where you strip off your clothes and go running in the street saying, "Eureka, eureka." No, it wasn't anything quite like that. It was, you know, this gradual sort of awareness that this actually might be something quite special. As you know, today some of you have agreed to actually be blissified during the laboratory.
John experimented on his microbiology students.
So what we're going to do today, we're going to colonize some of your mouths with millions of new friends. You're going to have your very own BLIS-producing Streptococcus salivarius, K12, on your tongue. It doesn't taste all that great, but don't sort of spew it out.
First, a mouth rinse to knock out all the bad bugs.
Spit out.
Then lozenges, which contain the friendly
The
bacteria.
idea is you need to take them at 2-hourly intervals or thereabouts.
The results were promising, but John needed to test the treatment on real sufferers. BLIS is more than a product to John Tagg. It's an entire philosophy. Around campus, he greets students with a special secret sign for those who are in the know.
If you believe that prevention is better than a cure and you like the whole philosophy and you see me around campus, well, give a tap to the nose and I'll give a tap back.
There are plans for an international release of BLIS. It could make Professor Tagg a millionaire, but he remains typically modest about his bad breath breakthrough.
I'm there, the person who has this dream, but that dream I couldn't fulfill by myself, so it's the technical people who've come through the laboratory and who have shared the ride with me for a period of time and have helped to turn what was a dream for me into reality. So, I mean, it's certainly not, it's not just my story.